What's up, guys? It's your girl, Victoria J. from 12th Street Talk Back, where transparency is our love language. This video is sponsored by BetterHelp, and I receive commissions for referrals to BetterHelp. You guys know that transparency is very important to me because I believe it's the key to communication and bridging the gap in our community. Bridging the communication gap in our community amongst our generations has been very near and dear to my heart for a very long time. I've been working feverishly to spark the heart conversations in our community. As the world changes, people change, things change, life experiences change us. Sometimes it can be hard to express yourself to your loved ones. We all suffered something during the pandemic, some more so than others. Emotions can be like a roller coaster. That's why I'm grateful to BetterHelp. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this episode. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist is not the right fit for you for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional cost. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you can expect from an in-office therapy, and with therapists who are custom picked for you. More scheduling, flexibility, and more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/12th Street. That's betterhelp.com/12th Street. I've also linked it in the description below. Let's start bridging the communication gap together.
And to go work on like parts of me that I try to brush away for so long. So those
Mm,
relationships that I've done brushed away, girl, they still gone, you know, but I'm not
mm-hmm.
like an ignorant person either, because if you hurt me, like I can forgive you, but that forgiveness does not mean reconciliation either. I just,
Mm-hmm.
leave you where you are, and that's what it is.
Well, you're right. So, everybody, my girlfriend has this saying, she's a motivational speaker. And she has this saying, she says, I don't do a lot of large things simply because my family can't handle that.
Mhm.
Everybody is not meant, or everybody won't be mentally prepared for that level of life. And sometimes it may not just be that. Sometimes it may just be the fact that everybody can't go where you need to go, like you said, and as well, especially if you're trying to make a change for your life for the good, and they were
Mhm.
part of the negative, you definitely don't want them to go with
Mm-mm.
you. And you were right. You touched on something just a few minutes ago about, especially in the Black and brown communities, they don't take mental health serious enough.
Mm-mm.
And I can really say this. I mean, I'm not the to all my 12th Street talk backers, hear me now. I'm not walking with God so well enough that I don't get in my flesh. And sometimes certain things make me mad. Certain things make me mad because it's almost like we take a blind eye to some of the serious issues in our community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then later on, it's like, especially like when things happen, like if a celebrity or a public figure passes away, you find out, oh, they were really depressed and all this stuff, and you start seeing everyone post, check on your strong friends, or pay. These are things that you shouldn't have to continue to remind people to do. And
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
like I understand our schedules get chaotic, and like I said before, life
Mm-hmm.
be lifing out here. However,
Yeah.
don't wait to the last minute to try to figure out the signs of yourself or another person. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the mental health, like the negative part of the conversation does drive me a little crazy sometimes. Like, just
Mm-hmm.
because people are thinking about their personal experiences and what they have lived through, and the fact,
Mm-hmm.
not the fact that maybe that person is not as strong to get through that right now. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And that's why I'm,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so big on telling people, do not center yourself in someone else's trauma or experience, because that's theirs to live, not yours. How you,
Mm-hmm.
like, people tell me things all the time. Like I always tell people, because of where I used to work at a psych hospital, I've, if you name it, I done seen it or I heard it, right? There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things that happen that are not a surprise to me, because working in a psych hospital, it take a different type of person to work on them units. So I've seen a lot. I heard a lot, and I've lived through a lot of my own experiences. So when I see different things that happen, I am able to open my heart and my mind to be like, okay, this may not have been how I may have handled it, but this person may really be struggling. They really may be going through something. And on the flip side, I know how to call a spade
Mm-hmm.
a spade. And like, if a person is just BSing about something, that's just what it is. But
Mm-hmm.
we live in our own minds a lot of the time. And when you live in your mind, you only think about you and your experiences, and you can't open yourself up to the likelihood that someone else may be not able to cope the way that you did, not
Mm-hmm.
able to manage. And again, like you said, it is a generational thing, because that's how you were brought up. That's how your mom was brought up, her mom, and it just kind of trickles down. But at some point, somebody got to break those shackles and be
Mm-hmm.
like, nah, like there's a deeper meaning to this. So when you hear me on my show talking about the disconnect with the older generation to like people like my generation, it's
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of older people, it's you just need to pray about it and just let God take the lead and move forward. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to pray about it. We're going to move forward. But I need you to also know that I'm still going to hurt in the process, and
Mm-hmm.
I may need extra support or extra resources to help get me through. You can, like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, child, you can have religion and spirituality, like all these things can exist together. You can have the scientific part of it if you want, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if that's what brings you the positivity that you're going to get through something, just know that that's not always someone else's reality.
Right. That's what I got. Like I said, that's what I got from listening to the majority of your episodes. I wanted to understand why the younger generation thought the way that they thought. And then as I started going down memory lane myself, I didn't particularly parent my kids like my parents parent me. I can't
Mm.
even think of one time that I even spanked my children. But I know I got what we call whoopings.
Yes.
But so as I started going down memory lane, I did take a lot of pages out of the parent handbook. Anything that my kids wanted, I was going to make sure they got it. So, and like I said, when I started thinking about some of the stuff in particular between the two different generations and trying to figure out how to bridge that gap, it didn't fall on deaf ears, the conversations that you've had with some of your other guests. So I just hope that there are more like-minded older people such as myself, or just um stop to think.
Mhm.
One of my favorite sayings come out of Proverbs: be slow to speak and quick to listen. And I think that's one of the problems older generation, sometimes we're quick to speak because we think that we know everything. And I'm not saying that we don't, because some of us do. Especially when it comes, alcohol, drugs, stuff like that. I'm talking about the dirty part of it, the nasty gutter part. We've been there before. We know where it's going to lead you. Don't consume too much alcohol. Don't get out there into the marijuana and all the hard drugs. That part of it. That's what I'm talking about. But we do, some of the older generation, if we could just sit back and listen just a little bit more, and before we be opinionated about some of the things that we think that we've gone through, we actually could probably learn a lot from you guys. So good stuff, good stuff. I love it. I love it. So what makes your journey through life now different from your past?
For one, I know that I'm not walking this alone.
Right.
It don't matter if sometimes I do have instances where I'm like, damn, I'm so lonely. Like, and I have massive amount of support, but there are certain parts that I have to walk alone for me to get a true understanding of what's going on, or even for me to heal through whatever I'm embarking on at that time. And back in the day, I felt like I needed someone else to help me get over, or someone else to help me get through. And I was afraid to be alone. That's been tied to other things dealing with trauma. It makes a lot more sense now, but I just have the confidence that I can conquer through anything. I always knew that I could, like, you put your mind to it, you can do it type thing. Like my grandmother always used to say that. And I'm like, no, because some things do get hard. But like, no, it's really true. Like you can do anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be. You can envision yourself being a person, this whatever type of individual you want, and wake up tomorrow and embody that spirit of that person. You see what I'm saying? And now I'm just like, if this is the case, then there's no reason for me to ever feel like I'm lacking anything. Life ain't for me. It's never been the most materialistic stuff. I have joy with just being at peace. Because listen, if you are able to live through what I have lived through, being at peace with yourself for one, it's a lot.
Being at peace with yourself is a beautiful thing.
Yes,
it's a beautiful thing.
It is. So, and I honestly know for a fact that therapy has definitely contributed to where I am now in my life. Like if you take therapy away from me, I still have some tools and resources to navigate. But if I've never really took the steps to get in therapy and be consistent with it, because it's different thing. It's different. It's different than going to therapy and then going to therapy and actually doing the work. Because I was doing that for a long time. I was just going and using and just talking and not doing anything different outside of what I was already doing. And I was forced to actually do the work. And it gets hard. I'm not going to lie. But I'm just able now to really embody my human feelings, my human experiences, and don't put myself on this high pedestal that I can't experience anything. Like, okay, it's okay to be vulnerable and cry, Chiquita, because I had a whole thing with that. This is okay. This doesn't make you weak. Growing up, crying made you weak. You was weak. Why are you crying for? Why are you sad? Now I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be sad if that's what it is. And I just continue to just be in flow with my life. And before, I was all over the place. I was so anxious and chaotic, and it always had to be something going on. And in the beginning, when I started to get a little better, if it wasn't nothing going on, I was instantly triggered because I needed some type of chaos. And now, Lord knows, I love the peace.
I know that's right.
Like I love the peace. And I still question a lot of different things. Things come up, people pop up, and I'm just like, okay, God, show me what this means. Give me signs. What is this person's true intentions?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning to just continue to not only reside more faith in God and trust him, but trust myself, trust my intuition,
Mm-hmm.
trust my
Mm-hmm.
discernment. Because if I don't trust me, who else I'm gonna trust?
Exactly. 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 You got to do it, girl. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm trying,
And
girl.
I I've seen a couple of your previous videos. Like I said, I'm a fan. When I attach myself to somebody, I really like it. I look and I remember I can see the growth in you because I remember when you did your first couple videos, you were there, but you still had that shy part going on.
Mm-hmm.
But you had the confidence to do it. And now when I'm looking and I'm seeing you on Instagram lives and your YouTube channel, I said, girl, you better do that thing. You're breaking out of
Yes,
your shell a lot, and I love it. I love it. Like I
I'm
said, keep doing
trying.
amazing
When I
things.
like I'm trying because like it look I'm getting chills now because if anybody that knows me know that when I started podcasting, I was like, man, I'm never doing no videos. I'm never being on camera. Like I didn't have the confidence fully
Mm-hmm.
in my voice, but to be in front of a video, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And I prayed about it once and I was like, God, if this is meant for me to do, then like I need you to like really get me over this hump. And I start meeting more people, building relationships with people that kept encouraging me to like do it. And I'm like, no,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just started doing it. And like YouTube was the last thing I ever had on. Never wanted to do YouTube. I was totally against YouTube for other reasons. But the whole lives and stuff, the whole videos and all that, it it came out of nowhere. So I just
Mm-hmm.
again allow myself to be in the flow with it. And and I know that it is I'm not, this is not for me. This is none of this I do. My podcast, me sitting right here talking to you and your supporters, this is not for me. There's a bigger purpose, and the purpose is way beyond me. This, my
Mm-hmm.
story, everything that I do from putting up a post, a video, is for to help someone else. Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times we go through things and it's not meant for us. It's meant for us to
Mm-hmm.
help someone. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I try to look at everything that I do. Like I'm walking in my true purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say what social media platform, but it was in 2022. I heard somebody put on one of the platforms and they said, oh my God, you got so many podcasters out here and with videos and audio, and everybody's a life coach now.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt compelled to speak on it. And I said, well, I don't think that's exactly it. Speaking of videos and all that good stuff, we went through a pandemic. People have stories to tell. Your story, my story is to see, you know, people get saved, people to turn back to Christ. That's what my hope is for. Your hope is for that as well as mental health. And it bothered me when I heard that comment. And I too, because we discussed it, I said, I'm never doing the videos, I'm never doing the live streams. And it like yourself, I prayed about it. And it in my spirit, what I got, and I try to fast and pray. If I'm really meditating on something, this is bigger than you. You need to stop saying my platform, my. This is bigger than you. This is God that's doing this. This is God that's moving it there. So when I seen that statement, my reply was, everybody don't go sit on somebody's couch and go to therapy. Not that I'm knocking that, but sometimes podcasting might be therapy for someone else because you never know. And
Mm-hmm.
my ending comments was, you never know who your story might help. Your story might encourage somebody else to go to therapy. Your
Right.
story might encourage somebody else, like the young lady you had on your show a week or so ago. Your story might encourage somebody else to leave that abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, being on video or being on audio, whatever you got to do, is for the glory of God. you went through those things for the glory of God. That's just my personal opinion on it. So if you can share those things, whether it be VI video, VI audio, why not? Why not? You
And
never know who you're gonna help.
yeah, and honestly, like I have connected with people that my story has that helped them go to therapy. And I mean, people that I met and they were like so against it. And I understand people reservations when they come to therapy. I get it. But I know for a fact that what I'm doing and how God is using me is helping people. And you know, I sometimes when I even do podcasts and stuff, I'm like, man, am I going to say the right thing? Like, am I really prepared? And then it's like, okay, you just gotta let it be. And then I'll start getting messages from people that done listened or something. They're like, oh my God, this resonated with me, or you really helped me. Or you just start getting an outpour of people just commending you for just being you, you know? It's still a little different for people like myself who's not used to that type of attention. You know what I'm saying? I guess you could say I was one of the people that was used to negative attention, and I would take it any way I would get it. But now it's just like when I leave this earth, I want for people to remember me by something good. Like I really, if I never become famous, Instagram famous, a trending podcast, I want the people that have come in contact with me to be like, you know what? She gave it her all. Like she helped so many people through her story, through her messages. That's what I want, you know? And like I said, this ain't about me. And it took me a while to really understand that. But now that I grasp the concept, I'm like, okay, I got to continue to pour in myself so I can be good to go out here and do the Lord's work.
That's right. That's right. Me and my bestie, I did an episode. It was way in the beginning of me doing the podcast. And we were talking about how we would want to be remembered. And it had nothing to do with the podcast. But what she told me about me, it just brought me to tears. And I got to thinking about that. And you do want people to remember the good stuff about you. And as long as you continue to hold your hand in God's hand, it is definitely going to go your way, Chiquita. I can tell you that for a fact. So, what do you think, in what areas do you think that we could bridge the gap between the elderly community, such as myself, the old heads, and the younger community? Where do you think the disconnect lies there? And if you can name one thing, what would you like to repair between the two so that we can start building that gap?
Okay, so because respectfully, my mom, you and my mom are in the same age bracket. I believe that because I don't want to say elderly, because you know, like when you think like elderly, you think like 80, 90 years old, maybe.
Oh wow.
Maybe. I don't look at y'all like I don't know. I'm trying to be respectful.
Okay, we'll say old heads. We'll say old heads.
So for the older generation or whatever, what I think that can help build the gap is for both parties, and I'm saying both because my generation as well, to be more patient and understanding, right? And what that means is I know I can be of high demand. Like when I want something, like I want it. When I expect something from you, I need you to do it like when I need you to do it. But there's also this patience that we have to have. You want a person to change their behaviors, y'all communicate about it. Give them time to actually adjust to the things that they said they're going to do. Be open-minded that it may be uncomfortable to them, but just also be patient about it. And there's not a lot of patience on both sides of the fences. There's not a lot of active listening. I mean, listening to learn and not listening to respond. You know, it needs to be both patience and active listening, open communication, you know. And I do know, like for me, sometimes even with me and my mom's relationship, there'd be times where I'd be wanting to really talk to her about things, but I know she's only going to listen to respond. And sometimes you just want somebody to like talk to, or, you know, a kid, you just want, it don't matter how old you get, you want your mom's love and nurture. And I feel like a lot of the older generation is too hard up, right? And it's structured a certain type of way that they can't come off of that high horse and they have to appear to be hard all the time, that they feel like they can't be patient, they can't be what you need them to be. And I'm not saying you need to be a softie, but sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to rest in your feminine energy. It's okay to, you know, be a little
Mm-hmm.
soft, because at the end of the day, if you continue to be on your high horse and then if I'm on my high horse, we never going to mend the differences and come together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Never. I think about specific topics like mental health, like we've been talking about. I'm thinking about Christianity. I'm thinking about sexuality, gender preferences, and identity. Because
Mm-hmm.
you look at social media, the older generation have, they're set in their belief systems. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be this. You should do that. The younger generation is like, no, like I can do what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a game of tug of war where I'm trying to explain and educate you on this, but I really don't care because this is not how it's ever been, you know? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, what do you do? What do you do? If the
Well,
parties listen, you know, and be patient and properly communicate, then maybe some things can be mended. And I say strong maybe, because I feel like a lot of times when people say they want to hear you out and they want to be educated, they do that, but they still want to believe what they're going to believe and do what they want to do.
mm-hmm.
And that's okay. But you should never leave from a place of malice, you know, you should
Right.
never leave from a place of, that's not my belief system, so I'm gonna just mistreat you. Like, come on now.
Well, I don't think that's fair for them to do that. It's like I was saying earlier, sometimes we have to be slow to speak and quick to listen,
Mm-hmm.
for one. And that's in both generations, as well as some topics just don't need to be discussed. With me being a Christian, if you give me the opportunity to tell you about our Heavenly Father, if you open that door, I'm gonna walk through it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a fact. But I don't go around blatantly discussing my Christianity and my different beliefs, because it can open up a whole can of worms. It could cause a lot of malice, hurt, harm, pain, and like you said, you know, most older people, we're stuck in our ways. It's hard to change us on some things. Some people, such as myself, do want to understand the different think patterns and how can I go about handling this a different way. I will say for myself, and that's just for me, if I do, if it's something that I have a strong belief system in, I'm just not going to touch it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just not going to touch it. I said before in many episodes, politics, I don't really dabble in that. I'm not going to go toe to toe with anybody about their religion. I didn't touch the Roe versus Wade. I mean, that's your personal choice. People are people. I'm going to love
Mm-hmm.
you anyway, because that's what God wants me to do. He wants us all to love each other with that agape love, not the theo love, not the um just agape love. He died on the cross for us. Can
Mm-hmm.
you imagine somebody knowing that they're going to die and then they have to carry their own cross to get nailed
Mm-hmm.
down? So I just think certain topics between the younger and the older generation, if we find ourselves playing tug of war and you do have that person that doesn't want to listen in the older generation, it's best sometimes to just leave it alone. My mother used to tell me all the time, there's certain things that you don't talk about. Religion and politics is some of them. So I try to shy from that. But I do get what you're saying, because I'm not going to say which child, because I have three of them. We play tug of war. And the exact same statement was, you don't listen. You always have an opinion about, you listen to react, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not receive that coming from that child. I received that actually listening to your show.
Oh wow.
And sometimes the people that we're closest to, we won't receive stuff from,
Mm-hmm.
but somebody else can come along and we'll listen and hear it a little bit better. So when I heard it and received it from the way that you presented it, now I react with that specific child in a whole different way. So some of us do learn. Some of us do learn. And that's why I asked you that question, because I knew you were going to have one of those answers that I just love to hear. That's why I love your show so much. So tell me, where do you see your show in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, and when I read that question, I was like, where do I see myself in 5 years? Like, besides the obvious, what some people would want, like, you want to be like married with children, have this lavish house or whatever the case is, maybe I want to be retired. I don't know. Like, I say that because I'm coming into more of myself. Things change all the time, like I just had a epiphany that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Now, if anybody know me, know that I was literally way far away from entrepreneurship. You couldn't talk to me about me having my own business, doing anything. I was like, oh no, I need a corporate job, like, because corporate jobs equals comfortability. I know I'm having paychecks coming in, health benefits, free days. Entrepreneurship can be a little, tricky and scary for some businesses.
Oh, yeah.
I understand.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah. So me talking about that recently, I'm like, I have things in mind that I want to embark on. But have I started that process? Of course not. Yet. I do want to write a book. I've always talked about writing a book. And it's so ironic because I had a publisher email me recently. I'm like, now that all started as a thought and now it's coming to fruition, like randomly, I always wanted to write a book. And as far as my podcast, like, I wouldn't mind continuing to take this journey to see where it went, whether it was mainstream. I know where it's at now. It's not going to stay here. Like it's not, it can't. And there has been things and communication I've had with other media companies and sources that I know it's not going to stay where it's at, but I'm the force behind it. So I have to continue to just, do what I do. But I can see myself, being an author, a public speaker once I get over this shyness and these nerves that I have. So yeah, just I really, besides an author and a speaker,
sky's the limit.
It is at this point. Tomorrow I might want to be a pilot. Like, I don't know.
I know. I feel you. Even though I'm a little older gal, some of the same doors that you mentioned just opened up, and I was like, I serve a mighty God. I serve a mighty God, because when he wants to do something, he's gonna do it, and he's gonna use whoever he wants to use to get that done. So for you, I wish you the best. I know that whatever you decide to do, whether it be an author, whether you go mainstream, whether you decide to be, you might be the therapist. I might need to come see you.
Listen, and it's crazy because, we went to college because parents said that we had to go. You're either going to be in the house and work, or you going to go to school. I didn't have the option to stay home. I tried to stay home at one point because I had a little boyfriend, and my mother was just like, no. But I also played basketball and I got recruited to leave the opportunity. And I'm like, well, I'll be back. And I ended up coming back just to go to another school. But I ended up going to school to get 2 degrees. And even though I'm not technically using one of my degrees, which is my bachelor's, I'm more so in my master's field. What I envision for my life to be is not going to be centered around either one of those, So it's funny. And I guess that just goes to show that, like, life has a way of shifting, and like you said, like, God will, like, use you where he needs you to be. My bachelor's in criminal justice. I never worked in the criminal justice field.
I went to school for criminal justice too. We have some of the same lights.
That's crazy.
I did, and I did not finish that, amongst some many things that I didn't finish. We're gonna talk about that later, but God, hey, we true Virgos. Whatever you do, I wish you success. So, what impact after every episode, every time you record, every time you are a guest on somebody's show, every time you decide to come up with an idea, what impact would you like to leave on your immediate audience, on your followers over at the Chronicles of the Virgo?
First, I would really like for people that listen to me to really listen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and this may sound a little like harsh, but because I'm nearing the end of my second season, right? When
Mm-hmm.
I started when I started this season, in one of my episodes, I literally kind of sort of put out a PSA that said, like, hey, if you're supporting me because you feel sorry for me or because you just want to say you support me, but you don't really have the true intentions behind support or learning, you can bow out gracefully. Like, you don't even have to let me know that you're not listening no more. You can go unsubscribe, unfollow, and keep it moving. And I meant
Mm-hmm.
that because I didn't want fake support. And at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, like, do I know the hundreds of people that tap into my episodes on a weekly basis? Absolutely not. Do I know the hundreds of people that follow my social medias that's liking or commenting? I don't. But what I want is for each person that does listen or does read a post to take from it something positive from that message. Like, I want that message, whatever it's about. If it's about the color of the sky or why the grass is green, I need you to take that and run with it. I
Mm-hmm.
need for it to influence a part of you that you didn't even know was in you. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
For
Mm-hmm.
the people that I've met that was totally against therapy and now they are thriving in therapy and saying, like, this is, I only went because of you. I'm like, I appreciate the art, you giving me the honor of encouraging you to go, but you went because of you. But you
Mm-hmm.
used what I was saying about therapy and different things to your advantage. Like, I'm grateful for that. So
Mm-hmm.
each episode that I put out, like, just know that it is something that really goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an
Mm-hmm.
episode that I do by myself, it's coming from it's a lot of work that goes into those, any part of recording. But because my podcast is around what it's around, I do not just pull stuff out of my tail. Like,
Right.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
just go Google stuff and put facts together. Like, I'm giving you the real raw. And a lot of things are around my own experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I bring guests on, and because you've been on my show, that will be
Oh,
out soon.
yes.
I always tell people, like, I don't want this to be like an interview session. This is a conversation around whatever the
Mm-hmm.
topic we decide, because someone out there needs to hear what you have to say. This ain't about me, but they need to hear what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
You have something to bring. So I want people that continue to support me, people that's going to come on board to support me, to take something from whatever I say. Even if I post like,
Mm-hmm.
man, I've done had a crappy day. Take something from,
Mm-hmm.
like, the
You had
whole
a crappy
point.
day.
Yeah, but what did you take from that?
I
Well, I'm taking the fact that you're just in tune with your emotions. Yes, I'm feeling the feeling. You're getting something, not
mm-hmm.
that I'm just listening just to be listening. If that's
Mm-hmm.
you, honestly, and I mean this respectfully, like, you don't need to listen to me, because
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm not for everybody
Yeah,
as a person. So I know that my platform is not going to be for that
for
platform
everybody.
for everybody. And each person that I listen to, like all the different podcasts and stuff, I take something from that episode. Now, whether I listen to them and it's more comedy than seriousness, like, I done got my good laugh for the day. I took something from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's even better when you can apply those things to your real life.
Mm-hmm. I think that, and that is a excellent point. That's an excellent point. And sometimes you can get it can be lonely out there, or it could be hectic out there in whatever you do in life. And that's from podcasting to working as a lawyer. It could be really hectic, but I feel you on that. I don't want you to listen just because you know me and you
Mhm.
want to support me. There's so many other ways that you can support me. Subscribing is free. I always say that. So even if you don't, you know, listen, subscribe, because I'm trying to help a community of people that need our help. So I feel you. I definitely feel you on that. And I don't think that was harsh to say at all. Life is time consuming. We go through enough as people. So life is time consuming enough. And I'm pretty sure if you're not taking anything from somebody's podcast or whatever they're saying, you could be finding something else to do with your time.
Yeah, and not only that, I don't want to feel like people are forced or feel like they have to support me because you know me, because you're my friend, or because you're my
Right.
family. Because those individuals, in my personal opinion, you're not going to get anything from what I am offering. I have friends that have their own businesses, right? One of my best friends, she makes like custom waist beads and all this fancy jewelry and stuff. Anybody that knows me know I'm not the most feminine female. So when it came to the beads, I'm like, girl, you're not tying them around my waist. So her business was not suitable for me because that wasn't what I liked. So what I did was, to support her, I would promote, I would send money, I would a lot of promoting, helping her find different pop-ups and stuff until I got
There's different
comfortable.
ways to support.
It is until I got comfortable to actually purchase things. And I got beads on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the point is, like, if you're not, it's, to me, I think of it like a music artist. Think of your favorite artist. You listen to that person's music because they are offering you something. Like, they are pouring into you and parts of you that you may feel like you need. Like, everyone know I love Beyonce and Meg Thee Stallion. Like, some of their songs just really give me an umph, right? And I listen to those certain songs and them, and I know I'm gonna get it from them. I'm getting a message that I didn't know I needed. Like, that's what I want people to get when they listen to my show. Not the fact I'm listening and reviewing because the people that I associate with are doing the same. Like, no, don't. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I do appreciate it.
And I do feel bad sometimes. Sometimes you do feel bad in this world of podcasting. You may have somebody to come through and recommend something. And I always said everything is not for everybody. It doesn't mean that I don't support you and with us doing the same thing, but every conversation may not be for everybody. So I totally get what you're saying. I'm not, and I don't listen to your podcast because I feel sorry for you. I listened because it said Virgo on the end. I was curious. I was nosy. That's just who I am. And then when I started listening, I was like, wow, she really has a story, and everybody has a story to tell. I told my story on your show. My story just happened to be the downfall and alcohol. Your story just happens to be mental abuse. I don't see why we can't support each other in this world of podcasts. But again, at the same time, if it's something that's not for you, you can't stretch yourself thin or feel like you're obligated or committed. So I totally get it. I don't think that there's nothing wrong with what you said, young lady. With all that being said, let's wrap this up. And I want you to tell my listeners over here at 12th Street Talk Back where they can find Miss Chiquita Johnson from the Chronicles of a Virgo podcast. I know, but let you tell my listeners where they can find this beautiful, beautiful soul.
Oh, thank you. And before that, again, thank you for this. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Yes, it has.
Very filling. So I appreciate you for this opportunity. And just for thinking of me to, brace your platform with my presence. I do appreciate it. And just wanting to know more about who Chiquita is.
You're welcome.
So my podcast, Chronicles of a Virgo Podcast, is on all of your major podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple, iHeart. It's just so many Good Pods, definitely on Good Pods. And I am on YouTube under Chronicles of a Virgo Podcast, as well as all of my social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. But Twitter is my real page, but I'm still under Chronicles of a Virgo Podcast. So yes, come tap in with your girl.
Okay, well, we'll definitely have that listed under the episode as we air. You guys heard it here, 12th Street Talk Back. We have my girl, Chiquita Johnson, as I like to call her, CJ, my sister. my Virgo sister, and I might say Virgo auntie because I'm eons older than her. But you guys heard it here. Go listen to Chronicles of a Virgo over on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, any of your listening platforms. You can find her, as well as continue to listen to our show over on Spotify, Good Pods, Amazon Music, Castro, Podbay, and we're now on YouTube. We have a new YouTube channel. Head on over to YouTube. Share, rate, follow, please. As well as you guys, we do need to get those numbers up over there on Spotify so that we can get some sponsorship. We're still working on that over there. And if you can't do anything, following is free. I always say that to you guys. Follow, 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 share, share, share. We do have a subscription over there where you can sign up as little as 99 cents a month up to $12.99 and beyond. We are trying to give back to the elderly community this Christmas 2023. I've already got some comrades that is taking money out of their own pocket, buying things such as blankets, pajamas, socks, toiletries. We went out today. We bought some stuff. You guys, please, 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 if you can do nothing else, 99 cents a month is nothing. As well as for any of my entrepreneurs out there, this is free advertisement. And if you live in the triad, we have Freedom Fridays. You're more than welcome to come on, get your 5 minutes of fame, tell us about your business, tell us about where we can find you, and we'll definitely hook you up over here. And if for nothing else, go ahead and follow and subscribe on Spotify. Please, we really want to give back to our elderly community. A lot of times, a lot of people stick the elderly into nursing homes and they wait for them to pass away. I am a witness from watching my mother in a nursing home and going to visit her. We were relentless at going to that nursing home, especially my oldest sister. But as you walk down those halls, a lot of those people don't have family members to come and even visit them on the holidays. So please, if you can do nothing else, following is free, and you can subscribe for 99% a month. Just go ahead on over to Spotify, look under descriptions where it says see more. You can leave me a message and you can subscribe. With that being said, Chiquita, thank you so much for coming on
My
our show
pleasure.
and sharing your story. We wish you much, much, much success in everything that you're doing. I'm always going to keep you on my prayer list. You got my attention. You're like the adopted older daughter that I never had. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You have a beautiful soul. You keep letting God do the things that he's going to do in your life and continue to let him lead you. And your mind is going to be blown to places that he's going to take you.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. And hopefully, just hopefully, I will see you soon in the flesh.
Hopefully we will. We'll go do something. Okay, guys. Peace and blessings to you all. Blessings, blessings, blessings. You guys have yourself a good day. Peace and blessings.